Hello YouTube. Hello. And we're back. Of course we are. Today, we're going to be talking about prediction. How you can actually predict your opponent pretty damn accurately. And in very simple ways. There's a lot of ways to predict your opponent. Obviously, there are a lot of ways in Tekken. But yeah, let's start. So, what I'm talking about are going to be two ways of predicting your opponent using very simple methods. Very simple methods. You don't need a lot. You don't need to know a lot of matchups. You need to know a lot of anything, to be fair. Well, kinda you do, but not that much compared to many other prediction methods. So these two are gonna be resource management. Now, why am I even talking now? What the hell is resource management in Tekken 8? Well, the two resources that we do have actually is HP and heat. And these two resource management, you can actually use this very effectively to accurately predict what your opponent's gonna do. So let me actually demonstrate this. First, let me demonstrate the easy one. The easy one is using heat bar to predict your opponent's actions. But how does that even work? How can you predict your opponent's actions just by looking at the heat bar? And by looking at the heat bar, I mean your opponent's heat bar. Right? So imagine you're playing against Kaz. Like this Kaz right here that I'm controlling, that's your opponent. And he's in heat, which will happen obviously. All the time it will happen. And he's running out. Let's say some things are happening, he comboed you or whatever, and he's just playing, and he's running out of heat. What do you think he's gonna do? Like, this is the situation. That is the heat situation. He's almost out. What is the number one reaction you're supposed to have when the situation happens in a real match? Your number one reaction is supposed to be, he's gonna heat smash, 1. Or, he's gonna use a heat dash, 2. So, and if you know, as I say, you don't need to know much, but you do not need to know something. If you know Kaz even a little bit, you'll know that he will most likely use a Tomback 1-2 heat dash from close range, which is this, right? When he is running out of heat. Which, if you can accurately predict this, you can accurately counter it. Right? Or he might use a heat smash. Which is a mix-up, obviously, you are guessing. But if you are guessing, you might as well guess accurately on which moves you're supposed to even predict. Like, you'll know it's down back 1-2 and you'll know how to counter it. Because if he uses some other mid, maybe it will have a different kind of counter. That's why it can be so important to do this. Also, whenever they're running out of heat, but they're not close range. Let's say they're not close range. They're somewhere around here. And the heat bar is looking something like this. They're running out. What do you think they're gonna do? Your number one answer right now for most of you should be FF2. It should be FF2. And you should predict this. And this is very predictable. When they're running out of heat and they have this kind of range in between, you should be predicting this. This is very predictable and you should be sidestepping this. Right? Because you know it's either steppable, which you have to step to the right, not to the left, because heat forward 4-2 tracks really well when it comes to that side. Step right, or you can also interrupt it. Interrupting it is riskier, stepping less risky. But yeah, this is one of the ways you can predict by using resource management. Paying attention to their heat bar. Let's just talk about another character. Let's talk about Jin. There's a Jin on the other side, so let's just talk about Jin. So Jin is exactly the same in that situation, that if you predict their actions, their heat moves, you can also counter it. For example, when a Jin player is running out of heat, you might suspect he might do a heat smash. Let's sidestep right against it. Because the weakness of this is you can sidestep to the right. And if you're expecting it, you can actually counter it as well. For example, he's running out of heat. Well, he's just running out, he did a jab into this. And I'm predicting that he's gonna do a heat smash. I'm just predicting it. And after this, I'm just gonna sidestep to the right. And now I predicted it, and since I was ready, I even ducked the second hit. That second hit is a high, that's knowledge, right? But you don't really need to know that. You don't need to know anything like that. Just by doing this, that's already good enough. And that's a prediction. Obviously, they cannot do that. You can be wrong. I'm not saying you're going to be 100% right all the time. Obviously not. No one's 100% right all the time when you predict your opponent like that. But this is a good way to predict your opponent's actions. Jhin, for example, might even do a down forward 2-1, which is a hit technique, right? It's a hit move. Or a hit dash, they might even do something like 4-3-1, this. This is also a hit move, that's a hit dash, right? This. They might do this. Or, just like I explained against Skaz, if they are longer range, what do you think they're gonna do? They have their own FF2. Right? You can predict that as well and avoid it. Obviously, the Jhin player won't use it as predictably if they're really good, but it's just another way to predict this, which is very, very important to do, and your opponent, especially good players and professionals, use this against you. For example, a lot of players, specifically I'm gonna just mention Ulsan does this, is that whenever they are running out of heat, they will specifically not use a heat smash on Dragunov, and instead use lows. For example, I'm gonna come in and you're expecting a heat smash, I'm just gonna down forward. I'm just gonna do down fours. And just free, because you're not gonna duck, you're expecting a heat smash. Right? Good players will use this against you, but using this at first, it's gonna be very, very good because you can accurately predict what your opponent's gonna do. And you just need to know a couple of things. You just need to know their heat smash and the heat dashes, specifically, right? And that's not a lot. Compared to a character's, I don't know, 100 move list, knowing like 2 or 3 moves and how to counter them, that's pretty little, right? For accurately predicting exactly what they're gonna do and countering it, it's pretty damn good. Now let's talk about the second one. The second one is way harder than the first one, and it's the HP bar. Paying attention to the HP bar will actually very, very accurately predict what they will do. You can't predict if they're gonna do a low or a mid, just like the heat situation. You can't really predict that, but you can predict which low or a mid they're gonna do, which is very important because you will understand the speed of the move that you have to deal with. So let me just explain. Let me explain. So imagine this is the situation. But imagine this is the situation that me as a Kazuya player, okay, let's imagine that the Kazuya player is your opponent, has let's say this much HP, 5% HP. No, let's say 20%. This much HP, right? I have a 10 HP. Why is it chip? I don't know why that's chip. Wait 1 second. Technical difficulties, guys. Okay, guys, we're back from technical difficulties. I was just the wrong option. But yeah, imagine Kazuya's health looks like this, and that's your opponent, right? Okay, that's not your opponent. Actually, that's you. That's you. This is your HP. So the opponent is the Jhin. So he, let's say, did a back 1-2 punish on you, which can happen. It can happen. You have that much HP and he punished you with back 1-2, and now you're stuck in this situation when the opponent will kill you, right? So this is very, very important to be aware of. Very important to be aware of, because when you're aware of your HP, like exactly how much you have, you can predict what your opponent's gonna do to kill you. Because usually when you have very low HP, they're gonna do fast lows, like down 4. Very good example. Or for other characters, they might do something else, or their own generic down 4, let's say, if you have very little HP. If you predict that, what's the plus side of it? You're still guessing, right? Well, the plus side of it is that, as I already explained, you can predict the speed of the move, which means that you can fuzzy. I already explained fuzzying in one of the vids, but basically imagine that the Jhin player is gonna be doing something like this as a mix-up, which is a mid, right? That's a mid. As a mix-up. But he's doing a faster low as a mix-up as well, which is a down 4. So in this situation, you can kind of do something like this because you're expecting a fast low. For demonstration purposes, let me just show you guys, I have 1 health. Like, I have 1 health. And I'm expecting for him to do a fast low. So I'm doing a mini fuzzy here. And this mini fuzzy will kind of avoid this fast low while also avoiding the slow mid, right? Obviously, you won't do it correct 100% of the time, but this is just an example, right? This is just an example of what this can do. This is what you will see a lot of pro players do, that whenever they have very little health, they will fuzzy very slowly, not very slowly, very fast, for faster moves, especially if it's generic down 4. They will avoid that, but they will also block slower mids. Now this is super, super useful, because you're predicting fast lows, and if they don't use fast mids to mix it up with, they won't mix you up because of this. Great. But now let's see the opposite. Let's say I have a little bit more health. Right, the same situation, but you didn't get punished by back 1-2. You got punished by, let's say, something else. Right, doesn't really matter. Let's say you got hit by forward 4. You have this much HP. Do you think they're gonna do a down 4 here? Like, if they want a low, what low are they gonna do? Do you think they're gonna do this down 4? No, because it will actually take 2 interactions now to kill you. So most likely not. That amount of HP, most likely not. But what will they do? Well, the other lows he has that deal more damage is either a down back 4, which is pretty damn close. That wasn't gonna kill, but it's close enough, right? They might try this. Not like they can see the HP numbers. And the other thing they might try is a down 2. So now I'm not predicting a fast low anymore. When I see this HP on me, that HP, like Kazuya has, I'm not predicting a fast low anymore. What I'm predicting is this. Or this. I'm expecting, okay, down back 4 or down 2, most likely it's gonna kill me. So most likely that's what they're gonna try to do. So if they want to low, that's the one they're gonna go for. That's exactly the one they're gonna go for. I don't need to guess what low they're gonna go for. I just need to guess that they're gonna go for a low. So now the situation is very different. The situation now is that you have to expect a slower low. But you don't have to worry about a faster one. But you have to worry about the slower mid as well. Now this information is already very good for you, because suddenly they're gonna use slow moves. Either a slow low, which deals more damage usually, or a slow mid, which might open them up to a keep out move, or a counter hit move. Like I might just electric them in that situation. Down forward to counter hit them in that situation. And that is very useful. Very useful. It's exactly the same way when you go up against, let's say, Kazuya. Let's say your HP is something like this, right? A little bit higher, let's say a little bit higher. Something like that, 30 HP. And that 30 HP, okay, he recovered, but doesn't matter. Let's say 30 HP. 30 HP, you're gonna be worried about Hail Sweep, right? Oh, Hail Sweep's gonna kill me. I have to duck it. It's really that simple. But it works for every other character as well. It's very simple, but also pretty damn difficult because you have to know the moves of your opponent. If you predict someone else's moves, you have to know what move you're gonna predict. For example, if the HP is very low and the opponent, let's say something like this, right, very low, and you're going up against the Brian, you might predict he's gonna down 4. A fast low. Let's say it's not that low HP. Something like this instead. Oh, he's gonna hatchet me. That's a hatchet kick coming right now. So this is a very accurate way to predict your opponent. Very accurate. Exactly. Like exact move. And when you do this, you have to already know how to counter it. Like this is not that easy. I just said it was simple. Not easy. It's simple because all it takes is for you to pay attention to their health bar. Or heat bar. But the moment you do this, you have to know how to counter this kind of stuff. If you predict he's gonna hatch it, maybe you can counter it. Maybe you can block it as well, right? You can predict that and just block it, but it's still gonna be a mix-up. And even when you have very little HP, you can also predict he's gonna do a fast low. Most likely very fast low, so let me just low pair very quickly and stand up. Do a little bit of a fuzzy. And that little bit of a fuzzy, I'll block a mid, like a slow one, and maybe I get my turn back. Maybe, right? But this is just another way of predicting. And it's not always correct. Guys, remember, this does not guarantee you that you are correct. You still have to guess between the low and the mid. But whenever you do guess correctly, you can predict what move they're gonna do. Like exactly which one and how to counter it. But yeah, YouTube, big thank you for watching. Big thank you. Hopefully this was helpful. I didn't really see anyone talking about anything even similar of this sort. So that's why I wanted to make this vid. And hopefully, as I said, hopefully it was helpful. So yeah, thank you once again. And I'll see everyone in the next one. Till then.